Yes, honey, Vinny Methuselah has a security company now. If anybody needs some security.
You do?
Yeah, she's the CEO of Methuselah. That's what she texts me on Thanksgiving, right? Methuselah Thanksgiving Security.
Hello, watching the Luna show, and right now you're about to meet Rico Allure. Rico Allure, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good. A lot of people have asked me to interview you, so I finally found you. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Rico Allure. Now what? Well, let's start off with the simple. I know that you've evolved from category to category.
Yes, I have.
And tell me your history.
My history is I first started as sex siren, as a rodeo. I was a rodeo back in 2000, 2001, and then I became an allure. I won a lot of accolades and prizes and trophies and of the years.
As a sex siren, right?
As a sex siren first.
Uh-huh.
I was also told that I would never be the one to break two categories. And I broke those two categories the same way I did the first category. So right now I'm legendary realness with a twist. I guess everybody's waiting for me to come back out with my clothes off to walk sex siren again to get my legendary sex siren, but you know, that's neither here nor there.
What made you change from sex siren to voguing?
It was a personal aspect. The sex siren it's really intimate. I felt some type of way as far as taking my clothes off for everybody. I didn't want to do it anymore. It was boring. I wanted some more excitement if I was going to include myself in the ballroom scene. So I decided to walk twist because I felt like it was more excitement. It was more interaction as far as just standing there looking like an object.
For twist, I know that usually people tend to be judged for their realness originally. Do you feel that you're real?
I'm very real. There's not a day that I don't know I'm not
What makes
real.
a person real?
The crazy thing is, like, it's kind of hard to judge a realness category or even judge somebody on a realness when you have two homosexuals to say if each other is real. When they're both are homosexuals, it'd be a difference if we had representatives of our neighborhood or our hoods to say, like, they can't tell if he's getting down with him or he's getting down with a chick. So I feel like it's how you carry yourself. Realness comes with maturity. You have to be mature to be real, because once you come out, you be kind of flamboyant, kind of current, but you grow into your manhood and become real. That's how I feel it.
And with the voguing, what is that like? That was one of your fantasy was voguing, and then that's why you
used
picked?
to talk a lot of shit about voguing. I didn't.
Why? Voguing is so much fun.
My first sights of it was Raven Rodeo then and David Bagari, and I used to see them throw themselves on the floor, and I used to always say to myself, why would you want to be dancing and then throw yourself on the floor? So after I really got into it, and I like to dance, so I mean,
you analyzed voguing, and now you
analyze it.
So how, as a dancer, how will you break it down?
Because voguing is all about telling stories. If you can't tell a story, you can't really vogue. You can't really put all the elements together to say that you're telling the story out on the floor.
Does everybody tend to usually have the same book when they come off of their tens?
No, because everybody.
Like, what's your story? When you vogue, what is your story? As a twister, I mean.
That's a good question. I get lost. I get lost in the beat, and whatever I feel is how I go about it. I can feel like a Beverly Hills white rich cunt chick, you know, with all these jewels and bangles and don't want to damage them, or I can feel like I'm from Newark and be in the hood on the block and be really bangy. It kind of comes along when it comes to the beat. The beat changes my attitude.
So walk us through this. So as you're preparing for walking twist, so like what goes through your head? Because you have to transform from like being a masculine man and being judged by how real you are, and then you become the softest thing that ever hit, like a butterfly. So how do you transform that, and what's the process behind that?
It's a maturity level. If you're able to turn on the switch to be out in the open and be self-expression and let everybody know who you are, then you cut it on. But then there's a time where everybody doesn't necessarily need to see all of that. You know, we already get a bad name and get stereotyped by others, and everybody's not the same. So you just have to take it from there.
So you've been on Allure for a while now.
9.5 years.
Right. So how do you keep dedicated? Because I know these days kids jump from house to house to house trying to find themselves. How do you manage to keep that?
I'm not going to say just because I have parents in the house. But although my parents in the house made a very, very deep impact on my life as who I am, as who I've grown to. So it kind of made me be very loyal. I've had sisters and brothers leave the house and want them to stay and want to leave, but I'm branded. I'm branded Allure all day.
Okay. So what do you see yourself doing next? You did Sex Siren, you did Twisting, now what?
Behind the scenes.
As what?
I'd rather have
What do you like in the scene?
What do I like?
What's one of your favorite things to watch when you're at a ball?
I mean, of course, the performance categories, they bring excitement.
Didn't you walk Runway a little bit too?
No,
Didn't you
I
play
wish
with
I
that?
could. I wish I could, but I can't. But I do have a lot of, Nadine Milan is one of my best friends, my sister, and I know a lot of runway girls that actually really walk, and for them to walk I got to learn basically what runway is, and being that what runway is, I actually do like to watch runway, but only when they get the chance to do what could I say, like over the top extreme effects, when they get to put all they need into that particular night for their category and get a chance to walk. I guess my kudos off of it. It don't get no better than that.
So I know we talked about twisting and how do you motivate yourself for that. With Sex Siren, how do you even manage to do that? Like, you're being judged by how you look. It's almost like face. Like, you are judged by Realness in some way.
But at the same sense, I think Sex Siren is opinionated. Because everybody's not attracted to everybody. You know, everybody.
But you've rolled it.
I did.
So are you everybody's cup of tea?
I guess because I kept it humble enough to be enjoyable. But like I said, it's very opinionated. Just like when it comes to face, one night a person could be sitting untold and beat somebody, and they can go to the next function and be battling the next person and get sent by that person. You sit there and you be like, well. So what was the difference?
Yeah, so it depends. I guess it depends on whose tea they like.
Yeah, it's just who's really using that night. That's all.
I suppose. So, in terms of overall life, what's one message you would like young people to know, so they can move forward or be a part of the scene? Or
I mean, if you're gonna be a part of the scene, take it for what it's worth. You know, don't. You can give your all. I think everybody should give their all in everything they do. And when it comes to the scene, you can give your all, but also set aside a time for your own life. Because the scene is not going, pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to every function after function to get your bills paid.
Right.
The world is
unless you're the promoter.
Yeah, unless you're the promoter or you got clout like that. But I mean, you have to live your life to the fullest, enjoy every moment of every day that you have on this earth, because life is too short.
Right. So is there something in the scene that you learned that you take into your personal life outside of the ballroom scene?
Yeah, some people call me shady, but I don't feel like I'm being shady. I feel like I'm real. I'm a realist, but
The scene has something to do with that?
The scene has something to do, just the years and amount of time that I've given to the scene. It helped me go through different character after the next character, after the next character, after the next character. Nobody's the same. So once you're learning everybody else, you sit there and think that you know everything, but you don't really know everything because you got all of these conglomerate amount of information on there, and you just have to do what you know is best for yourself.
All right. So what about one last question? What would you tell somebody who wants to be a twister, wants to walk your category? What will you tell them? The kids for tomorrow.
Well, be real for one. You gotta be real. you gotta be real. You gotta be real. Because you can't just come out there and twist and not be real. If you come out there and twist and not real, you might as well just pump for Vogue Femme. Like, there's no reason to even waste your time to walk
You think
twist.
there are some people that walk it that aren't real?
Lot of,
So how do you think they get through? Why? What do you think?
because they get overlooked and people forget that they used to walk Vogue Femme. I mean, the twist line, I remember back in the day where it really wasn't, it used to be a lot of people lined up for the Vogue Femme and the twist line, and people used to get so sick and tired of even waiting to see these voguing categories. But now it's like, it's ridiculous. The line is completely
It's
out
like
the
2
box.
blocks
Like,
long.
you can't even figure out.
But you know, Realness with a Twist wasn't always voguing either. You
exactly.
remember that,
Like,
right?
I mean,
It was like
I would-
whatever your twist was. It could have been phase. It
I
could have been
actually would
runway.
get life if a twister came out and when they pumped the beat, even if it was a voguing beat, if they just started pumping runway and they was walking runway down, I would get my stinking because that's twist.
Twist is whatever you want it.
It's whatever.
How do you think it became voguing though?
I believe that was the easiest thing to learn versus everybody trying to.
But
walk
isn't
runway.
runway easier?
Yeah, but like everybody
Pump,
does.
pump.
I'm sure everybody doesn't want to feel like they're strutting everywhere they go.
Yeah, I guess.
So that's. I mean, I
I love it. I love what it is now, but I just remember when it was like you had a choice.
Yeah, like you had a choice whether or not to walk runway or you wanted to Vogue. But like nowadays, everybody vogues with everybody, so everybody want to Vogue.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for this. This was great.
You got it.
Is there something you want to tell the ball kids?
Wrap it up. Keep it safe.
Yes, of course.
Please,
And you know,
please.
December 1st is World AIDS Day.
Yes, it is. And be protected always.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right.